Good evening, hello and welcome. You're watching Plain Speak here on CNN News 18 with me, Poonam Burde. The fight for Karnataka is one of prestige for both the Congress and the BJP. One party is eyeing a fillip ahead of the 2024 elections, while the other is eyeing an historic return to the state. Both parties have had their bigwigs campaign at a feverish pitch in the run-up to elections. It's less than a fortnight to go. Rahul and Priyanka Gandhi have been in the state. The Congress's president himself has been leading from the front. Buoyed by the response they received during Rahul Gandhi's Bharat Jodo Yatra and its Karnataka leg, the Congress is confident that this election is theirs to win. Add to that the united front that the Congress has been putting up as far as the state leadership, the DK Shiv Kumar camp and Siddaramaiah camp and the two leaders are concerned. That coming at a time when there's rebellion within the BJP, there are resignations within the BJP. That too is giving hope to the Congress party in this poll-bound state. But today, Congress's chief Mallikarjun Kharge, who was on campaign trail in the state, held a no-holds-barred attack against the Prime Minister. Well, nothing wrong in that. But the kind of language that was used, that is now raised hackles of the BJP. Now, this is not the first time that Mallikarjun Kharge has taken a direct swipe against the Prime Minister. This time, Kharge, who is in his home state of Karnataka, tagged the Prime Minister a poisonous snake while asking voters to be cautious of the BJP and for believing promises made by the BJP. A comment that saw a quick clarification, but the political war of words only escalated. Listen in to the comment that Mallikarjun Kharge first made and the clarification that followed.
ನೀವಂದ್ರೆ ಇದು ವಿಷಯ ಅದ ಇಲ್ಲ ನೋಡೋಣ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ನೆಕ್ ನೋಡೋಣ ನೆಕ್ಕಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗಿರಿ ನೆಕ್ಕರು ಸತ್ತ ಇಲ್ಲ ಇದು ವಿಷಯ ಅದಾನೋ ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಮೋದಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟನ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಮನುಷ್ಯನ ಪ್ರಧಾನ ಮಂತ್ರಿ ನಾವು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ನೋಡೋಣ ನೆಕ್ ನೋಡೋಣ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಆ ವಿಷಯವನ್ನ ನೆಕ್ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಮಲಗೇ ಬಿಡ್ತೀರಲ್ಲೇ ಹಂಗೆ ನೀವು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಚಿಂತೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಈ ದೇಶಕ್ಕಾಗಿ
ಭಾರತೀಯ ಜನತಾ ಪಾರ್ಟಿ ಅದು ಒಂದೇನಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಹಾವು ಇದ್ದಂಗೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನೀವು ಹಿಂಗ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ದೆ ನೆಕ್ ನೋಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಟಿಮೇಟ್ಲಿ ಅದು ಡೆತ್ ಅಪ್ಪ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಹೇಳಿಲ್ಲ ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ನಾ ಹೇಳಿದ ಮೊದ್ಲೇನೆ ವೈಯಕ್ತಿಕವಾಗಿ ನಾ ಯಾರಿಗೂ ಹೇಳೋದು ಇಲ್ಲ ಈಗೂ ಹೇಳಿನಿ ವೈಯಕ್ತಿಕವಾಗಿ ಯಾರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನನಗೆ ಅಸೂಯಿಲ್ಲ ಆದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಐಡಿಯಾಲಜಿ ಏನಿದೆ ಅದು ಒಂದು ವಿಷಯದಂಗಿದೆ ಆ ಐಡಿಯಾಲಜಿ ನೀವು ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ನಾ ನೆಕ್ ನೋಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಡೆತ್ ಈಸ್ ಸರ್ಟನ್.
Now, the BJP was not going to take this down lightly. One leader, top of them, one after another, lined up to slam the Congress party, Mallikarjun Kharge specifically. The Chief Minister of Karnataka, Basavaraj Bommai, was one of the first ones to respond. He came out and said that Mallikarjun Kharge's mind is poisonous and this shows prejudice towards Prime Minister Modi and the BJP. Union Minister Rajiv Chandrasekhar then came out and said that Karnataka will never forgive or forget or even vote for the Congress party because of such commentary coming to the fore from the highest within the party. Prakash Javadekar, a member of parliament and a former union minister, also came out and said that this is reflection of sheer frustration and a defeatist mindset of the Congress party. Dharmendra Pradhan, union minister, again came out and said that Mallikarjun Kharge making such comments is only doing so to please his masters. Anurag Thakur, Union INB minister, then came out and said that nobody considers Mallikarjun Kharge as the Congress president. Hence, he is desperate, once again hinting at the remote control allegation that the BJP has been making all along. Now, whether that narrative resonates or not, voters will decide on the 10th of May. But elections are about pre-poll promises, and the Congress has been making a slew of them, a list of guarantees that they are offering to the voters if the Congress is voted to power. One such promise that has been made by the Grand Old Party and by the former Chief Minister of the state, Siddaramaiah, is on reservations. Siddaramaiah came out yesterday and said that the Congress is committed to increasing the quota limit in the state to 75%. Right now, remember, it's at 50%. The 50% cap on reservation should be removed, is the Congress's pitch. Siddaramaiah and other Congress leaders have also said that that quota should be increased based on caste population. A certain caste which has a very high population but has no representation in quota will also be looked into. Caste-based census should be included in the next census is also another demand that has been made by the Congress party. Earlier, Mallikarjun Kharge had written to the Prime Minister as well, demanding caste census and such data to be made public so that an informed decision can be made. Now, the Congress is looking to consolidate the scheduled caste and OBC votes specifically in the state of Karnataka. The party has reignited the issue of caste census in the last few days. Like I said, Mallikarjun Kharge even wrote to the Prime Minister. Rahul Gandhi too made an aggressive pitch for a caste-based census and for the removal of that 50% ceiling as set by the Supreme Court when he was addressing a rally in Kolar in Karnataka. So why exactly is the Congress making this renewed push? There are several reasons. One is to woo Vokaligas and Lingayats who demanded a quota hike. Remember, recently the BJP government did give 2% each to both those communities when the 4% quota was scrapped for Muslims. Another reason why the Congress is making this renewed push is that Dalits, OBCs comprise of about 40% of Karnataka's population. Now that 40% vote bank is what the Congress is looking to tap into. Reason number 3 is that they think they can attract Muslim voters as the BJP wants to abolish the Muslim quota. Now there's still a legal hurdle as far as that scrapping goes, but the BJP is firm on scrapping it if voted to power and if that legal hurdle is crossed in the Supreme Court. Now, the Congress also believes that it may clean up Congress's anti-OBC image after Rahul Gandhi's surname remark and the defamation case that followed, which is also why they are making this renewed caste-based census and caste-based quota push. Now, let's take a look at what the reservation currently looks like in the state of Karnataka and whether or not Congress's this pitch is even feasible. Now, according to the current system, backward classes are getting 4% reservation. Similar situation with the OBCs as well in the state. Right now, they get 15% reservation under category 2A. That will remain the same. Muslims were getting 4% reservation under category 2B. That has now been scrapped by the Karnataka government. That decision is still pending in the Supreme Court. Vokaligas are getting 4% reservation under category 2C, which will now be increased to 6% post the changes made by the Basavaraj Bommai government and the 2% quota that was removed from them. Hence, under this category now 2D, Lingayats were getting 5% reservation. That too will now be increased to 7%. The remaining 2% from Muslim quota has been added here in this particular category. Scheduled castes get 15% reservation that was hiked by the government to 17% last year. While scheduled tribes get 3% reservation, that was increased to 7%. The bill passed to hike the SC/ST quotas also under challenge because it increased the 50% cap on the state, a 50% ceiling that the Supreme Court has asked for. Now, there is a 10% quota for economically weaker sections as well. That remains over and above the 50% cap on quota. So, in totality, Karnataka now has 66% quota in jobs and educational institutions. So, can they actually push that forward and will that pass the legal hurdle? That is also something that we will discuss in the course of the next half an hour. But what is important is that the Congress is making these renewed pushes like in any other election-bound state on multiple fronts. Like I said right at the start, a lot is riding on this election. It's not just about one state or the 224 assembly segments in Karnataka. Here is what is at stake for the grand old party. One, it's very, very important for the Congress to stay relevant to win the state of Karnataka. Now, in southern India, not a single state has a Congress government presently. This win in Karnataka would also be a morale booster for the cadre, not just in Karnataka, but the rest of the country as well. We're not very far away from the 2024 general elections. Which also brings me to how many Lok Sabha MPs Karnataka sends to the parliament. It's 28 Lok Sabha MPs. It's going to be extremely crucial come 2024. The good show in this election will impact the local body elections in Bengaluru, in the IT capital of the country, the BBMP elections in December as well. Now, loss in Karnataka, if that happens for the Congress party, will further fuel infighting within the party, especially in that particular unit, and it could have an effect, a repercussion on the rest of the country as well. So that brings us to the question we ask here on Plain Speak. From Gali politics, from insulting the Prime Minister to playing the caste card, is this last mile desperation for the Congress party?
ನೀವಂದ್ರೆ ಇದು ವಿಷಯ ಅದ ಇಲ್ಲ ನೋಡೋಣ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ನೆಕ್ ನೋಡೋಣ ಅಂತ ನೆಕ್ಕಕ್ ಹೋಗಿರಿ ನೆಕ್ಕರು ಸತ್ತ ಇಲ್ಲ ಇದು ವಿಷಯ ಅದಾನೋ ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಮೋದಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟನ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಮನುಷ್ಯನ ಪ್ರಧಾನ ಮಂತ್ರಿ.
There is a poison in the mind of Kharge.
अभी
A lot is at stake. A lot is riding both for the BJP and the Congress. But what explains the kind of promises that we are seeing from the Congress party especially? Debate that. Joining me on this broadcast, the spokesperson of the BJP, Guru Prakash Paswan. Dhruv Jati of the Congress in Karnataka is also with me. Author and senior journalist Rashid Kidwai is also with us on this broadcast, and advocate Aditya Srinivasan joins me as well. But I want to begin by asking Dhruv Jati, the kind of comments that we saw from Mallikarjun Kharge, he then came out and clarified and said that, I wasn't really making a personal attack on the Prime Minister. I was talking about the BJP as a whole. But then we have his son, Priyank Kharge, coming out and listing reasons as to why the Prime Minister is poisonous, in fact. So which side should we believe?
See, AICC chief Mallikarjun Kharge ji is a very tall leader that comes from the backward classes in Karnataka, from Kalyan, Karnataka's Gulbarga district, right? He's issued a clarification very clearly stating that he was speaking about the entire Bharatiya Janata Party system and not the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister's office deserves to be respected. Every citizen must respect it. But the Prime Minister, if so abusing the power, has every right to be questioned. The AICC chief has come out with a clear clarification that he was speaking about the BJP system and he called it poisonous. If you have to ask me, and if you go to the people of Karnataka on the streets today, I think using the word poisonous is something that's very soft. The people of Karnataka who have been cheated by the Bharatiya Janata Party would have much harsher words to use and much derogatory words to use to the Bharatiya Janata Party. Let me also remind you that the Prime Minister just yesterday in a conclave went on to speak about mental health in a very funny manner, where he went on to mock mental health, right? And this is the Prime Minister of the entire country over here who's speaking.
Sure.
He went to a program in Kerala, an official program, where he was wearing the Bharatiya Janata Party's badge. And if you have to speak about the long list of slurs that the Bharatiya Janata Party has made, I have close to about 150 slurs. Jersey cow, from hybrid calf to 50 crore girlfriend to, Barwala. There are many crazy terms that the Bharatiya Janata Party has put all together. The fact is that the Karnataka election is going to be fought on the local issues on the whole. What's happened today is something that's not going to affect the voters. The voters are worried about the 40% commissions, the Nandini cooperative, various other issues which are deeply impacting them on their daily life. Let's also remember what Amit Shah came and said yesterday. Even our PCC president and our general secretary has gone ahead and filed a complaint on his terms when he went to threaten the people of Karnataka. Let's also remember what JP Nadda went to Haveri and spoke about, saying that the people of Karnataka will not have the blessings of Modi if the Congress party comes to power. The Bharatiya Janata Party is left with nothing but to threaten the people of Karnataka. And the people of Karnataka are going to show it to them on May 10th.
Sure. So are you saying this is a tit-for-tat sort of politics, and that's something that should be okay with, just because the BJP does it and they use slurs against certain members of their of the opposing sides? Then if the Congress does it, why question us? Is that what you're trying to say?
See, he's clearly come out with a clarification. He said that he's speaking about the BJP system. And, even if you want to speak about the BJP system, let's recall a press note in which Santosh Patil's family had spoken about how the BJP's cadre is entirely poisoned when he had committed suicide and named Mr. Ishwarappa. When their own BJP people themselves are saying that the system is worse than poisonous, Congress party has every right to say that the system is poisonous. And he's speaking about the party, mind you, not about any specific person.
Sure. Guru Prakash Paswan, it's not about the Prime Minister's office. It's not about one specific person. It's about the ideology of the BJP, and that is poisonous. So all the Congress was trying to do is caution the voters of Karnataka. That's the defense. Do you buy it?
A very warm good evening to you and my fellow panelists. We must understand that this is a new low in the political discourse of the country. When, as a citizen, we are concerned about talking about politics of issues, politics of ideas, but you are constantly attacking and insulting a Prime Minister who comes from a very humble background, who comes from an extremely backward caste. What is your agenda? And let me also remind the viewers that Office of Prime Minister is an institution within the Constitution of India. If you insult the Office of Prime Minister, you are showing that you have no faith, you have no respect for the Constitution of India, for the makers of the Constitution of India, including Baba Sahib Ambedkar. But we must also remember, historically, the feudal mindset of the Congress establishment, the feudal mindset of the Congress leadership towards the leaders from the marginalized communities has been such. Congress insulted Baba Sahib Ambedkar. Congress insulted tall Dalit leader Babu Jagjeevan Ram. Congress insulted its own president Sitaram Kesri. Congress insulted PV Narasimha Rao. So we know, history knows, there are sufficient evidences to establish the Congress party's elitist and feudalistic mindset. We are expecting, and I'm speaking not as a political person, I'm speaking purely as a citizen of this country. We are interested in knowing about your ideas. What are your ideas about Karnataka? What are the issues? But constantly, if the Congress top leadership is speaking such language about the office of Prime Minister, this is something which concerns me. This is something which bothers me. It is a challenge, and we need to collectively come together. We need to collectively come together and do a more nuanced and a more mature political discourse which is beneficial for this country. But right from Maut Ka Saudagar and so many things, Nichi Jati, आप आकर के चाय बेचिए कांग्रेस कन्वेंशन में. This is what senior Congress leader Manish Shankar Iyer said. Who is going to apologize? A clarification is not enough. A clarification is not sufficient. We need apology. We need a clear-cut explanation. What were the reasons? And like you rightly pointed out, that soon after the clarification of Mr. Kharge, his son Priyank Kharge comes and again perpetuates that statement. What is your idea? Where are your issues that you're not talking about? And I'm going to say this today. On 10th of May, we would see the people of Karnataka like previously in 2014 parliamentary elections, in 2019 parliamentary elections. People of Karnataka have shown you the door.
Sure.
Please make some amends.
And it's not just
Please
about
do some
Karnataka.
improvement.
Dhruv Jati, you said that these kind of things don't have an impact on the voters' mind. There are more issues that they need to think about, and that's really what the voters thinking about. But if you look at the trend and the comments that were made, right from Maut Ka Saudagar in 2007, when Sonia Gandhi had made that in the context of before the Gujarat elections, BJP won 107 seats in Gujarat, that assembly elections. Cut to what happened in 2022. Same state, again we have Mallikarjun Kharge himself go out and make the Ravan comment. Then too we saw the BJP come back with a thumping victory. So clearly this is something that perhaps weighs on the minds of the voters.
Not at all, not in Karnataka especially.
Dhruv Jati, yes. Dhruv Jati, go ahead.
Yeah, Poonam, not at all, not in Karnataka. And like Mr. Paswan said, let's speak about issues. More than ready to talk about issues. Let's speak about what Modi was doing when CM Bommai was under his nose putting across all the 40% scams. When Modi comes to Karnataka in the next week, is he going to visit Santosh Patil's house along with Ishwarappa? Is he going to do that? Does he have a face to show at the Nandini Dairy Cooperative? Is he going to go and tell them that Amul is going to take over? What is he going to speak to the unemployed youth of Karnataka? How is he going to speak to them about the 2.5 lakh jobs that are vacant? Is he going to speak to the students who are cheated in the PSI scam? I'm talking about issues. You're asking about what Congress party is doing. We have 4 full-fledged guarantees that is accommodating the entire society and the strata of Karnataka put together. What is the Bharatiya Janata Party doing? Very simple. Ignoring development, not able to speak about issues that concern the people, not able to have an answer on the 40% commission altogether, having star campaigners who are coming over here and trying to create religious rifts and community rifts within Karnataka, trying to make it a war of communities in the state. That's what's happening over here. And the people of Karnataka are not stupid. And let me remind you that in 2018, Bharatiya Janata Party was not even voted into power. They were the ones who purchased the MLAs and then formed the government. You think the people of Karnataka will forget that? They remember it very clearly. And on May 10th, you're going to have all your answers set straight.
Sure.
And let Mr. Modi ji come to Karnataka and answer these questions that I've put to you.
And Dhruv Jati, because you bring out the 4 guarantees that you're making, Mr. Paswan, I can see you raising your hand, but I need to get in the 2 other gentlemen on the panel as well. I'll come back to you. But because the Congress raised the 4 guarantees that they have been giving to people, that also includes raising the cap on reservations from 50 to 75%. And I want to get in the advocate on this panel to actually talk about whether this is an empty promise or it's actually feasible. Aditya Srinivasan, can it actually pass the legal hurdle? There is a cap of 50% on reservations as put forth by the Supreme Court. Can then a politician go ahead and promise raising that cap to 75% and then want the voters or the people to believe that it's actually doable? Is it doable?
Yeah, look, firstly, can I just say it's such a pleasure to be on a panel with my dear friend Guru Prakash, with whom I've had many such discussions during our college days. But to come to your question, Poonam, what the Supreme Court has said in this economically weaker sections judgment, which came out not very long ago, is that this ceiling of 50% is sort of inflexible in the sense that you actually have the ability to tinker around with that a little bit. I suppose the short answer to your question is, can you actually go from 50% to something higher than that? I suppose you could, but the modalities of how you go about doing that can be quite challenging, can be quite tricky, and I don't think it's going to be a walk in the park for any state government or for any political party to try and casually raise that limit up to 75%. It's not going to be easy.
Right, it's not going to be easy. Whether the voters actually think this is an issue, that is something that weighs on their mind, that we'll have to wait and watch out for. But Rashid Kidwai, there are multiple issues that have been put forth in this particular election. Yes, we need to talk about issues. There are local infrastructure issues that are an issue. Development is something that we need to speak of. But unfortunately, there is one leader from either sides of the spectrum, and we see this every election. The discourse by someone or the other is always lowered, irrespective of party lines. Isn't that the most unfortunate bit, Rashid Kidwai?
Yes, Madam, indeed, in a parliamentary democracy, there should be some decency in public life, and it should hold good for all political parties and leaders. But I think the response that, we are talking about, the way BJP goes about, highlighting if anything is said against Prime Minister Modi, as if it's a game changer. My own thing is it's a very simplistic way of looking at it. Had, Sonia Gandhi not made that remark, Maut ka Saudagar, do you think the outcome of Gujarat elections would have been different when Mr. Modi was the chief minister? Or Manishankar's years that, it was a reprehensible remark, I must insist. But you see, it would not have altered the outcome of 2014 election. So my point is, Karnataka elections is a complex thing. Either people are going to vote for Mr. Bommai and BJP in Karnataka or vote against. It is not going to swing just because Mr. Kharge has made one remark, and Mr. Kharge has himself distanced from that. So that should be taken on a face value. The BJP seems quite desperate. They always, and their ministers join. It's like a template they have got. Every time something happens, there are 10 ministers come and they talk about it. Karnataka elections is not, Mr. Modi is not a chief ministerial candidate in Karnataka. Why is there such a big fuss being made about it? If somebody has said it, he spoke in Kannada, he has apologized, who is distancing, he's saying he's not mean it, we must accept that and end the matter.
Mr. Paswan, if you take the comment at face value, then why not take the clarification at face value?
Poonam, the issue is not about clarification. The issue is not about ignorance. The systematic mindset of the Congress party. This is not the first time, and I'm sure, sadly, unfortunately, this is not the last time as well. Congress party constantly insulting. It was none other than the leader of opposition in the Lok Sabha, Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary, saying things about the President of India, who is first time in the history we have a Adivasi ki beti at the Rashtrapati Bhavan, and the Congress party could not digest it. It was none other than Congress official spokesperson who have insulted the lady from the tribal community who has reached the highest constitutional office in the country. Should we not speak about it? You cannot take us for granted. This is the month of April. We celebrate Baba Saheb Ambedkar. And Baba Saheb Ambedkar said a very prophetic thing. He said on 26th of January 1950, we are going to enter into a life of contradictions. We will have equality in politics, but we will have gross social and economic inequality. This is the social inequality which is at exhibition here by the Congress party. I would like to respond to my friend from the Congress party. It was the Congress party in Karnataka that conducted the caste census. Why did you not put the record in public? Point number one. Point number two, the Karnataka budget allocation from central government to state government has more than doubled, and the BJP has been in power. What is your explanation to it? You have no evidence to establish, and I'm not going to indulge in rhetoric. What about this 40%? You have one evidence. I challenge you on this show tonight. If you have one evidence, produce it and go to the people of Karnataka and as far as your allegation on MLAs are concerned, it shows that you absolutely have no faith in your own MLAs, you have no faith in your own cadre, and that is very much on the face of it by the feud and the conflict between Mr. D.K. Shivkumar and Mr. Siddaramaiah. You have no faith in your cadre, you have no faith in your leader, you have no conversation on ideas, no conversation issues. That is why you are indulging in such a low political discourse. It is the Congress party that has to face the music come the May 10th, and constantly you can insult us, you can insult the backward, you can insult the marginalized, But the nation has changed now. Post 2014, we need politics of performance. Please let us know what are your ideas and don't indulge in this empty rhetoric. This is the simple request that we have from the
Sure.
Congress party, Poonam.
Dhruv Jati, several questions there being raised as
It's
far
not a
as the
one-way
caste
street.
quota promises made. And you heard the advocate on the panel as well saying that, sure, there may be some sort of flexibility, some sort of elbow room here and there, but the 50% cap still stays. So then the promises that you are making, are they actually doable? Is it something that you promise to do with implementing them if you come to power, or is it just something that is going to be a poll rhetoric?
Poonam, just before I come that, I have a long list of slurs that the Bharatiya Janata Party goes on to make in response to the BJP spokesperson. And to the second question, in response to that, Mr. Siddaramaiah has come out and said that when the Congress party is formed, he's going to put up a special committee that is going to look into the corruption that was done by not just Bommai, but the entire Bharatiya Janata Party. Now, coming to your question about reservation, the Congress party and the Bharatiya Janata Party on the whole have two contrasting opinions on reservation. Mr. Siddaramaiah ji's question was very simple. In layman's term, if the Bharatiya Janata Party wants to exceed the cap of 50% by 6, why can't it be brought to 75% when it accommodates all communities put together? Now, when we speak about the Bharatiya Janata Party's claim with the reservation to 6%, none of their claims on the whole, it was just a 1.5-page interim report that was conducted, had no empirical data on the whole, and they wanted to scrap the government. They wanted the government to scrap the entire quota for Muslims. Now, whether you see it from the Nangana Gowda Commission to Havnur Commission to Justice Chinnappa Reddy's Commission, all of them have categorized the Muslims as backward classes, right? So now the Congress party is a party that looks at social justice and working on the upliftment of SCs and STs. That's very important. The central government hasn't had a census in 2011, again in response to the BJP spokesperson. Just when the census was almost ready, it was Mr. H.D. Kumaraswamy, that was the chief minister, who did not implement it. You should be questioning him. And after that, your party had the census. Till today, it hasn't implemented it. Why so? Is it not appeasing your vote bank politics? Right. So now coming back to the whole point, is that we require a caste census that needs to be done on the whole. Our leader, Shri Rahul Gandhi, has been emphasizing on this time and again. And if there is any change in reservation that needs to be put together, it has to be done with a census and with empirical data on the whole, not with just a normal report that consists of 1.5 pages, right? And the BJP is very much aware that this report is going to get scrapped off by the SCs, just done to appease their vote bank politics. So even if you go through the Indira Savni versus the Union of India judgment, the cap is 50%, but in exceptional circumstances, it can be raised. And what the Congress party is saying is that when there is a census put forth, and the social strata of Karnataka, which is extremely diverse on the whole, our preliminary research as of now, what it says is that we have to be more inclusive with the reservation, right? And once the party is in power, we're going to go ahead with a complete census, and that is going to prove to the people of Karnataka as to why it needs to be raised to 70%. If so, that is what our leader, CLP leader, Mr. Siddaramaiah ji, has said. Not like the Bharatiya Janata Party that has gone in and sent a 1.5-page interim report, knowing that it's going to be scrapped just to appease the vote bank.
Mr. Paswan, if you think that the Congress's promise is not going to pass the legal hurdle, then the BJP's decision to scrap the 4% quota for Muslim has also hit a legal obstacle. The Supreme Court has come down heavily, if not an adverse order, but the Supreme Court has come out and said that prima facie it looks like it's a flawed argument. It's on shaky grounds.
We have to understand one simple thing. I was patiently listening to my friend from the Congress party. He said that a special inquiry committee would be formed. What is happening in Rajasthan? Why is the senior Congress party leader Sachin Pilot up in arms against the chief minister of Rajasthan?
Let's speak about Karnataka, sir. Elections here in a few weeks.
I did not speak when you were speaking, sir. Let's have level of respect and dignity, sir. Thank you so much, sir. I did not speak here. Thank you. So similar promises. You should understand the mindset of the Congress party, the modus operandi of the Congress party. Similar promises were made in Rajasthan, but Mr. Sachin Pilot is up in arms against the present Chief Minister of Rajasthan for not fulfilling those promises. Point number one. Point number two, I would like to thank my friend for admitting that they conducted the caste census, but they did not release the result of the caste census. They did not make it public. Second, they're talking about social justice. Look at it historically. The first backward classes commission, Kaka Kalilkar commission, who was responsible for pushing that recommendation? It was the Congress party. It was the Congress Party Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi ji who on the floor of the parliament opposed the recommendation of Mandal Commission, sir. So you have absolutely no locus standi, absolutely no moral authority to speak on social justice. How many Dalits have been the president of Congress Party? Zero. Absolutely zero. So I don't think we have any explanation
Sir,
to do.
Mr.
but the
Kharge ji is a
Congress
Dalit, just so you know.
I did not. Let us have a level of
Yeah, Mr. Paswan, you've made your point. I'm running short of time. Yeah, Mr. Paswan, I'm running short of time. You've made your point. Dhruv Jati, go ahead.
Yeah, see, I mean, if he's being factually incorrect, then I have to correct him. I have no option. Now, speaking about the caste census, I said that it was almost, and the Bharatiya Janata Party has a knack of misunderstanding things. I don't understand why. What the Congress Party is speaking about is about a 75% increase that doesn't enfranchise community as to what the Bharatiya Janata Party is doing. Very simple.
It is an anti-democratic, family-based enterprise.
I request you both gentlemen to stay on with me. The back and forth of allegations will keep going, but even as we speak, Mallikarjun Kharge, I'm given to understand, has just released a statement, and he said, if my statement has hurt anyone, if it was misconstrued and distressed anyone, I will express regret for it. All I said was that there are the ideological differences and that the RSS and BJP's ideology is poisonous. If my statement has hurt anyone, I will express special regret. It isn't right to twist my statements, but my fight against the RSS and BJP and its ideology will continue. That's the Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge expressing regret. Mr. Paswan, 30 seconds to you. Is this acceptable? Will this end the debate now?
The Congress Party and the president of the Congress Party has come out with this apology. We welcome that apology, but we also insist that the Congress Party and its top leadership must come out of this feudal mindset. Repeatedly, you are showing that Congress is a feudal institution. Congress is an elitist institution. Congress is an anti-democratic institution. Why are you indulging in insulting and attacking the personality of people like Honorable Prime Minister, people like Honorable President? Because you are not able to digest the simple fact that people from Dalit community, people from tribal communities, they can go and be at the topmost position in the government. Be ready for this change. Be ready and be warm to these changes. This is the real social justice.
But we do hope at least this debate ends. Rashid Kidwai, we do hope at least these kind of discussions end right now. And let's talk about the issues that actually matter.
That is the thing. I think parliamentary democracy is a gentlemanly manner in which Mr. Kharge has regretted or apologized. Mr. Paswan and his party should accept it. There should be some grace. Because if we go on talking about it, there is no point. But the fact of the matter is, Poonam, it pains me to say that there is the absolute, trust deficit between these national parties. And therefore, that is the root cause of problem. Root cause of problem is not what leaders say as far as the moment. Root cause of problem is that Mr. Paswan's party and the Congress, they don't have respect for each other. And in parliamentary democracy, they must have. Whoever is in opposition or in power at all, that's insignificant.
Sure. It's the political discourse that needs some sort of monitoring, that needs some sort of self-restraint as well as far as poll promises are concerned. Many parties make these promises before elections. Voters on ground do believe that some of them are fulfilled, some of them are not. Whether that party is brought back to power or not, that is something that the voter will decide in the end. Whether these issues, these kind of statements remain in the minds of the voters, whether these promises, like the Congress is making, the guarantees as they call it, is that something that will ensure that they win this state as they would like to believe, or can the BJP actually create history in the state of Karnataka? We'll find out on the 13th of May when it's result day. I have to leave it at that, but I thank you all gentlemen for joining us here on this broadcast with your perspective.